And the economy's
Could
going.
line the whole state with one.
The economy's going to
Small
shit.
State. Yeah.
And it's affecting everybody. It's getting so bad that this is happening.
You're putting CDs in the player?
This is happening.
Oh, what's on the CD? I got confused.
This is getting bad out there. Listen to this one. Or maybe not.
Just hit it hard.
Okay.
The economic crisis, of course, taking its toll on business, death, and dying.
Many bodies are going unclaimed as families aren't able to afford funeral expenses.
Who's doing
Why?
that?
Stop it.
Maybe there's a handful of people. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it an epidemic?
Is this happening like a lot?
Where your relatives are dying and you're making believe that you don't have an idea?
I don't know.
What are you talking about? I'm not claiming that body.
Funeral expenses.
The coroner's office talked about some of the stories here. You have a father, the breadwinner of the family, dying in a car accident, and then they go to his home, and there's his...
Not much of a breadwinner if you're not claiming the body.
Really? Jesus.
I guess he wasn't bringing too much money home.
And then they go to his home, and there's his wife, who's a stay-at-home mom with several kids to raise. And if people don't know, a funeral, your average funeral just to bury somebody, is $7,000. So you can imagine when they're already cash strapped, or if somebody's been laid off, what people are dealing with. But because of this, more bodies are going unclaimed here at the morgue, and cremations have gone up in the county of LA. Now, the county cremates unclaimed bodies after a month at the morgue. Families can pay the coroner $350 to receive the ashes. A private cremation costs in the neighborhood of $1,000. So just by waiting to claim a loved one's body, they save a little over $600. Funeral homes charge around $7,000 just to transport a body and bury it in a simple grave. And to get a headstone, things like that, costs more money. Families who are holding funerals are often choosing cheaper coffins and holding shorter services. And some casket companies have stopped making the expensive models altogether because of the economy. Now, last year, there were 36% more cremations done that taxpayers are paying for. There were 712 last year.
God, she's losing
and the
me.
year before that, it was just 525. Now, as I was saying, there are many sad stories here. It's not just people who are trying to, get away with not paying much money. A lot of people simply can barely afford to pay their bills. So
it's endless.
For a loved one's death on top of that is what we are seeing here.
Wow, that could have been edited.
Yeah. I'm being called a dumbass because I don't know what copy and paste is. Of course I know. It was a joke about how ridiculous website addresses have become.
Yes.
So, first of all, it's completely ridiculous that you got to go broke to bury a loved one.
Yeah.
I didn't realize funeral costs were that high.
7 G's.
7 G's just to get the basics.
7 large for the pine box.
But then they guilt the shit out of you, and you're pushing 10 almost every time out.
Yeah.
And okay, here's the question I got today. So you don't have a lot of money. Your loved one dies, and you're like, I can't do 7. All right, let's call it 7 G's. Are you allowed to dispose of the body yourself?
I don't think so.
So then what? Who pays for it?
That's a crime.
Do you have to pay for it? What is the law?
Yeah, why?
No, because it's money. You know what I'm saying? It's a service they provide. But if you can't afford that service, you should be able to figure out another way
to dispose of a loved one.
Yes,
for free.
I'm not even joking.
For completely free.
Borrow your friend's boat and just dump the whole thing over the.
Dump them in the ocean.
It matters where you are.
But it's true. I never thought of that. There should be a way you could just dispose of it like trash.
I think so. I mean, that would be horrific. But if you're strapped for cash, what? Yeah, you should have other options. Wood chipper. What are some of these other options? Wait for them to build some kind of arena in your town and dump it in the cement.
Acidic vat.
Yes, you just disappear. That's what the mob used to do.
But what is the law? They're forcing you to pay the minimum because it comes down to the minimum. So someone dies in your family, you're forced now to in some
loved one die.
In some cases, take out your life savings to bury them.
Yeah,
and now you're in deep financial problems because you had to quote do the right thing.
Penn and Teller did a great episode on bullshit about the business of death and dying.
I saw that one. That was
it's called Death Incorporated. It was fantastic.
That was
and
a
it just
great
kind of
one.
showed you how...
Because these scumbags, unfortunately, I had to go through this process, and they're all scumbags. They make believe they give a shit about you and your dead relative, and then they drag you downstairs to look at coffins, and they guilt you into getting the really nice coffin, even though after the service, no one will ever see the fucking coffin again.
Bury it.
Right.
Imagine buying like a car and then burying it.
Right. That's basically what you're doing.
Hey, what color paint is that? You want it nice and shiny.
Yeah.
And then we'll wax it up.
Yeah.
Okay, now drive it into this hole and we'll bury it forever.
Yeah. But what is it? Seriously, what is this about? Like, do you have to do this? Like, are you allowed to get rid of a body another way if you don't have the money?
Laws. You have to adhere to the health laws, I think. That's probably what the problem is.
Okay.
So
can we get someone that really knows this topic? Because I'm very curious right now about this.
I do.
Ted's funeral home?
Yes.
Emporium.
Yeah, of course. Why would I say funeral home?
Of course.
We have the discount package where we'll put 3 strangers in the same coffin. It's very unpopular.
Why is it unpopular? It doesn't matter in the end.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to grieve together. Just 3 strange bodies on top of each other. Looks uncomfortable.
Ted, what do you call your funeral home?
Ted's Funeral Home, Emporium, and Final Resting Place Incorporated.
Who gets the top so that they can see them?
We mix it up a little bit. If you come to the early viewing, perhaps your loved one. At the later viewing, perhaps their loved one. We try not to mix the races because then it's just too obvious from across the room.
That actually made sense, though.
Yes, it
Where
did.
you would rotate the deceased.
Sure we would.
Yeah.
Can't you put your relatives in like the woods like you do with your family pets?
Yeah, just bury them.
I know my dad would just throw our beloved pet in the woods somewhere to be found by somebody.
Ripped apart by animals in the night.
Even though it's Long Island.
Yeah.
I'm sure the raccoons would do a good job on a family
Oh,
pet.
hell yeah.
If you left it in the woods.
They love ripping apart your family pet.
Look, man, my dad, he needed to save a few bucks, and we lost dogs, and a lot of them, because we lived on a main, 25A. It's a very busy road when I was growing up. Still is a very busy road. We lost a lot of pets, and Dad would all of a sudden take that pet and go somewhere, and I know he wasn't spending his money on a vet.
No.
Unfortunately, he's now gone, because I could handle where he dumped these pets now that I'm older. How great would it be if your dad showed you the family pet graveyard?
Here it is, just a bunch of bones,
Right.
little kitten skulls, and
Technically, I think my dad was a serial killer. Technically, because he didn't kill the dogs, but he did some ghoulish things with their corpses.
poses them in seductive poses
Yes.
like a serial killer.
He would do things with the skin, Buffalo Bill.
Did you have a dad that would, all of a sudden take the dead pet and dispose of it?
No, ours would die or run away, and we'd never find him. But
That's what they tell you.
yeah, but
That
Smokey,
you're-
I still found on the side of the
yeah,
road.
yeah.
Remember Smokey?
Sure.
Was with the maggots eating half of Smokey's head. Very, very creepy. But I think if you have an outdoor animal, you're just asking for sorrow. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, God, it's going to get run over.
Something.
It's just going to get run over.
Yeah, we don't live. None of us. I mean,
Got hit
we're
by
a
a
national show,
car.
but most of us don't have farms where you could get a
No.
pet and you open up the back door and it's gone
Yeah.
for days and it's safe.
It's running in the cornfield and
Most of us have
chasing
what,
cows.
a quarter acre,
Yeah.
with cars all around,
cars just
and then
speeding
you just
in front
let
of
your
it.
dog out.
Or your kitty.
Very good point coming in from Denver Pest.
No.
Pest out west, baby. Why didn't they make funeral plots the height way instead of length? Cemeteries would have so much more room. Because there's probably it's probably perceived that your loved ones would be very tired standing
For eternity.
So someone figured out, it just looks better if they're laying down for
That
eternity.
is true.
And they wouldn't stand; they just kind of collapse and crumple,
Right.
like a frumpy make. Picture yourself collapsed in a standing closet forever.
You would. Your skeleton would just be
But-
your skull on top of a pile of bones.
All right, but in the end, what does it matter?
Please, I'm
But
with you.
it's all this perception shit.
Yeah.
Don't you want your loved one laying nice on a nice little
Right.
pillow and looking good in a really nice coffin?
Yeah.
No, burn them.
I saw what they did. They just dumped those freaking workers. Usually they're illegals.
Oh, by the time you reach your car,
I shouldn't say
they're
usually
already cranking that lever down.
Yeah, I shouldn't say usually, but one of the funerals I went to, they were illegals, and they wanted to get this shit over with. As we're all grieving, I peeked out the back door of the service area, and they're there waiting with their shovels.
Ghouls.
Could we be done with this so we could, to them it was just another, hour of
gruesome
work.
Ghouls.
They didn't care. And I know they just threw that coffin in sideways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
What do you think
some of them just...
Dude, what do you think they do? You think they get in the hole and, place it down nice?
Gingerly.
Hell no.
You think sometimes it busts open and they laugh?
By the time you're in your car going to a restaurant because you have to have the meal with everybody. Ugh.
Yeah.
They're just throwing that coffin in any way they could get it in and get it buried immediately.
Oh.
So they can move on to the next dead body.
Just cracks open. Grandma comes spilling out. They laugh as they just shovel dirt on her head.
Yeah, you got to think.
Because they don't even fix it.
Why would you?
Why?
You got to think.
Just leave her crooked up against the coffin for eternity. All uncomfortable.
You have to think. All right, let's... You can eat the bodies. That's good news. Jesus. Okay. Mike, Georgia, Jimmy Norton's going to be in the Atlanta area, right?
Yeah, I say you could go like the Soil and Green movie and eat your relatives, right?
Oh, I thought there was some kind of twisted law in the books.
Where you could eat your relatives? That would be interesting. Oh, that's a sick tombstone.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me go to Footer. Footer.
Yo, what's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, we were going Southern State Parkway, and a few of my buddies, we were getting on Southern State, and there's a little bit of traffic, so traffic was merging on, and there was an old lady that had a little white fluffy dog hanging out the passenger side window, and he must have wanted to jump out onto the little grassy area. So she panicked, so me and my buddy jump out of the car to kind of help scoop up the dog. The dog panics and jumps out in the middle of Southern State and boom, gets fucking hit. Little white fur everywhere, bro. We just felt so fucking bad. It was ridiculous.
What'd the lady do?
Oh, bro, hysterically crying. People were pulling over. It was like a massacre. And it was like a hot beach day. Everybody going to the beach on the Southern State.
And it was kind of your fault, right?
Oh, 100% our fault. We tried to do the right thing, and we killed the old lady's dog. But,
wait, the dog was what, buddy? He was trying to jump out of the car, and you guys tried to stop it?
No. What happened was he was hanging out, his little paws were hanging out, and I guess when she was merging, he wanted to go into a little grassy area and maybe take a peep. So he jumped out. We were like, oh, shit, that dog just jumped out. Let's go try to, rustle him up for her. And he must have fucking panicked, and he shot across. And the only really lane that was moving was the left lane. And he shot across and fucking boom. He got nailed. White, it was like one of those Bijons or whatever they are.
A Bichon Frisé.
Ooh, fancy man, yes. And fur everywhere. It was horrible. Horrible.
Man. No, I got a question for you, Footer. It sounds horrific. Same scenario, but it's a possum.
Okay.
No one's grieving.
Exactly.
The possum.
No one gives a shit.
No, nothing. All right, guys. Hey, take care. You rock your fat slub.
Yeah. And how many of us, you're driving with your girl, and she sees a dead animal on the side of the road, and she's like, oh, my God.
She gets wet, right? Oh, just mine.
And then you go, oh, it's a possum. And then everything's cool. But if you go, whoa, that was a dog, then, there's tears and stuff. But if you say it's a possum, it's a raccoon.
Yeah.
What are some of those dumb other animals? That
skunk?
Skunk.
Mongoose.
Right. But
bald eagle.
But there's a sense of relief.
Leopard.
Sense of relief when you realize it's not a dog or a cat, right?
Baby elephant.
Baby elephant.
Crocodile.
Things you see by the side of the road. Pterodactyl.
Am I right, though?
I think you're right on that one. Armadillo.
But in God's eyes, aren't they all important?
They should be.
But not in humans' eyes.
But they're not. Unless they're adorably cute. They're fucked.
Let's say hi to Frank in Texas. Frank
in Texas.
Yeah.
What's up?
I was just letting y'all know, it's illegal to just go burying yourself.
Is it?
Health code.
Yeah.
So you can't bury a body on your own.
No, sir. Health codes say you cannot bury.
All right. So why are they holding us hostage and making us pay these crazy, fees and rates or whatever you want to call them to bury your loved ones?
Well, there's stuff you can do. You don't have to embalm a body. I mean, so that's a lot of the fees.
Oh, so if you're okay with them rotting,
it's pretty safe to say the average funeral, whatever, is, I think someone said it, about $7,000.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money for a lot of people. That could put them in, into a financial situation they can't afford.
In ye old poorhouse.
So, what does our country, what does our government do to make sure that people aren't going broke because they have to bury, do the right thing and bury their loved one?
Well, that's ridiculous. They don't do anything. But to bury, the burial's only $500. You can put them in a box and not.
Can you bring your own box?
Oh,
yeah, bring your own box.
Like, you could get a Best Buy box, maybe shove Grandma into the box your TV came in?
I'm not real sure about that.
How horrific would that be? All right, we got Grandma ready for the funeral. You throw her in a Best Buy
flat
TV
screen box.
You just throw her in the back of the pickup truck and just show up at
we're
the
here.
wake. Here, we're here. Let's get this over with.
Easy, fellas.
All right.
Yeah, why couldn't you do that? Just use a refrigerator box. You show up at the cemetery, and you're just like, I just want to plant this bitch.
Oh, yeah, and you think, well, let's go to Randy in Pitt.
Randy?
Yeah.
You tuning son of a bitch. You tuning son of a bitch. What's up, Randy?
When I was a kid, about 11 or 12 years old there, come home from the amusement park, and my dog had got loose and got hit by a car. So my dad takes it, buries it. About 2 weeks later, he told me where he buried it, and I'm riding my dirt bike back there, and I decided to go see my dog, and there was a hole in the ground with this rib cage just laying there. Some fox or something had dug it up and ate my dog.
Oh.
And Dad tries to do the right thing, but, I mean, come on.
Nice.
You think your dad's going to dig a...
Fucking serial killer with his shallow grave.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
Proving my point that sort of serial killer-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not digging a really deep hole so the wild animals out there don't get to your pet.
No, don't get to your pet. That's it. They dig them up and rip them apart. Tear them to pieces.
That's right.
All right, boys. Punch it out.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to Dan in New York. Dan.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, nice story here. New Year's Eve, 1998, my mom died. So there we are, New Year's Day. We're sitting there in a funeral home.
Pretty selfish on her part, huh?
Well, whatever,
Oh.
So, anyway, we're sitting there.
Kind of like those people that get married 4th of July weekend and stuff. Jeez, thanks.
Got stuff to do.
No, really, I didn't want to go to a beach or something and do something fun.
Barbecue and watch fireworks.
It's way more important to watch you get married and divorced in 5 years. Thanks. Sorry, I've been through. I also did a Christmas Eve wedding, I think. Or right around Christmas. I'm like, what are you thinking? We all have to go shopping. It's already a hassle this time of year, and now you're throwing a wedding into the mix?
Yeah, thanks.
What the fuck? Go ahead, Dan.
So anyway, we're sitting there picking out the coffins and this and that and everything. We were saying, well, we want this one, that one. And they said, well, this one here has a 10-year guarantee. And it's like,
what's a 10-year guarantee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what's the warranty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
what are you guaranteed against? Well, any kind of leakage or anything. Well, we already got to put it in a vault. You got a $3,000 for a concrete vault that they have to put them in.
You don't even understand. The biggest thing is, how the fuck are you going to know whether the guarantee, whether it is leaking, or whether something happened to it?
Right.
Well, just last year it was the 10-year, and I kind of brought that up to my sister. I said, you know what? I said, I wonder if we should dig Mom up and see if we can get our money back if it leaked or not.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. You're out there just foolishly digging up your dead mom.
She's all mildewed.
I imagine it costs money to exhume a body, though, so it wouldn't even be worth it.
Oh, literal Jim.
Oh, Jim. The wrecker of all fun.
I want a coffin that lasts 45 minutes and then disintegrates.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
You gotta have the funeral real fast, or else people are gonna be horrified.
I want a coffin made of lead, solid, heavy lead.
So it's just a hassle for everybody.
Yeah,
very inconvenient
as they move your body around.
Or a coffin made of paraffin. I want it to be something that just bothers everyone. He wants diamonds on his pillows. What?
All right. What else there, Dan?
That's about it. Well, we got lucky with my dad. Lucky he was in the military, and we had him buried in a military cemetery, and they took care of all the costs that way. You know, I mean, he was in World War II. You know, So I mean,
they do. They do a good job. Absolutely.
It was a nice ceremony, but
they make it a lot easier for the family when you got someone in the military that unfortunately passes.
Right. So, all right, that's all. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Later.
Yep. Well, we got a guy in the industry. Let's get to the bottom of this. Paul,
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm just laughing at myself for a second. It's like I've never had a job in my life where I could just sit here and watch a girl getting ass fucked while I'm on my job.
Who's what?
I don't know. I just popped up a link, and now there's a cum shot, and a chick is 69ing with her and licking up the byproduct.
Doesn't that imagine how great their job is?
Yes.
The guy fucking her? You think you're having fun. He's actually at work when he's doing that.
You know, you make a good point. That's his job. Just watching smut and listening to phone calls. What the fuck?
Paul, Jersey, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey.
All right, so a couple of things that you guys heard or said that were incorrect.
Yeah.
So the reason they don't stand them up, it doesn't make a difference because of the sizing. They lay them down and they dig them deeper. So you end up in the same square footage. You get the same amount of.
Okay.
Oh well, when you think about it, he's right. The same square footage is being buried.
That's right.
Yeah, but the thing is, you could put them closer together if they weren't long like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could put them like next to each other, like safe deposit boxes. You'd bump into some stranger while grieving and talking to a headstone.
You really can't do that either because the last caller said that you have to buy the vault. That's where you want to spend. If you're going to spend money in the vault because just like Opie was mentioning, this coffin after you wheel him in and out of church and lay him out for a couple of days, it never sees the light of day again.
But who gives a crap about the vault?
Yeah.
Well, the vault is really what keeps you together and what makes sure that
keeps you together. Who cares?
I don't inside, if you even care about that.
Why would you care?
Because a vault, a mausoleum's like inside, right?
No. The vault is.
The vault is literally
when they dig a hole. They lower a concrete. Basically, it looks like a giant coffin. Then they put the coffin inside of that, and then they seal it with bolts.
Who came up with this?
The actual concrete is what keeps everything and keeps the ground. Because what was happening was in the old caskets and in the old cemeteries, you'd see a lot of drop-offs. Right, like where people were dug, because when that wood would rot, it would just basically the ground would fall in, and you'd have a whole bunch of look like potholes in front of the gravestones.
Oh God, that's
meaning
what you
all
want.
the dirt, collapsed onto grandma.
Yeah.
And then you would have animals.
How about cremation? I have to be cremated. I cannot be buried in the ground.
No,
I cannot.
Scared?
It's just awful.
You'd be frightened.
It's awful.
It won't. It just doesn't matter.
I don't care. I don't want.
The other caller said that you don't have to get embalmed. That's 100% incorrect. Everybody has to be embalmed if they're going to be viewed.
Right.
If not, that you don't have to embalm them and you could just fire them up. Outside of that, yes, if you're going to be buried, you have to be embalmed. But you can even check up on the itemization. It's like a few $100 to be embalmed.
Oh, the itemization of it was unbelievable. They're running down like you're getting extras for your car. Do you want this? Do you want that?
Air conditioning.
Yeah, basically, it was unbelievable. The choices. It's like it doesn't matter. And I knew
you remember what the biggest the line item is outside of the coffin. Do you remember what the biggest thing is?
Wow, no. It's almost 5 years actually coming up soon.
Makeup. The makeup artists are who makes out.
Makeup for a dead person.
Do they?
Hey, but here's the deal. What if you can't afford, all these costs?
Well, dude, we're not doctors, so we don't have to provide service if you can't pay.
No, Paul. Paul, I understand.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
you and your loved one.
Paul, I understand you got a business, and that's fine. I'm not going after you. That's fine. I mean, you're going to get plenty of people that are going to get your service. But I'm saying, what are the options for people that just can't afford it? Do you know?
Potter's Field.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just
there are some low income housing type cemeteries that you can go, and it's basically a pine box, and in a piece of shit that's going to fall apart. But yeah, that's really what your option is.
That's great. Here's a piece of shit that's going to fall apart.
And that's how they present it to you.
Or this piece of shit.
Now, what's real interesting, if you want to hear about more of your tax dollars being pissed away for special interest, in this state, in the state of New Jersey, there are also special, basically potter's fields for people like Muslim people, and they're state owned, and you just kind of go in there and you file, and you can get a pot, and it's basically for free. But if you're the white Catholic guy, you can't get that treatment.
Mm-hmm. Right. Interesting.
No surprise.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Thank you so much.
I guess.
There goes
so
Paul.
much. You ghoul. Stealing in death. You fucking creep.
Buried 3 bodies. There are ways to save money. Steve, what's up?
Hey,
Hello.
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy's, a couple of those guys are partly right. I mean, it just depends on what the state is. And it's kind of funny you mentioned the grandma, because we just buried our grandpa like that. I went down there. He had no money. Went down there, picked him up in the back of my truck. We made the pine box. Went out there, had to dig the hole, buried him.
Wow.
The funeral service guy had to come out there and make sure the hole was buried. It was, the correct depth and everything, but it was like $200. Buried my grandpa like that, an aunt and an uncle. So it just depends on the state.
You dig the hole yourself?
You dig the hole yourself where? In a graveyard?
Yes, sir.
That would be cool. Get the whole family involved.
It's the way we did it. Me and my 2 brothers, my dad went out there, took shifts until we had to bury our uncle, and then we went and got a backhoe.
I had to dig a grave with my brother, and I still say the worst day of my life ever. Ever.
What, for like
Ever.
For what?
But it just depends on the state. I mean,
No,
my grandma didn't have no money, so she just asked if we'd do it. We built the box, went and took it up there, put him in it, drove him home, put him in the hole, and covered him up.
Wow.
Because, you're dead. You don't know nothing.
Did you use dovetail joints?
I'm kind of with you on that. You don't know nothing. I
Man,
like other things like
or tongue and groove.
I like that other dumb stuff where you I don't know, get a fucking park bench or something with a good view with their name on that. Way more.
Yeah, it's kind of
But the deal is on the state laws, though, on the embalming, none of them want to be viewed or anything like that. It's kind of a state of Arkansas is it's a 24-hour period. You have to have them in the ground inside of 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, it's a religious thing.
Were they arrested?
Right.
We didn't go for all that crap. So, and, kind of all feel the same way. So it was pretty cut and dry.
All right. Thank you, Steve. No, really. We learned a little something there. And you know how thanks, Steve. One of the themes of our show is that we're not really free in this country.
Yeah.
We like to make believe we are, and we like to make believe we're freer than other countries out there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely question that. I don't know for sure. But try burying a relative in the backyard of your house, and then you'll see how free you really are.
When they find it.
But when this country first started, that's pretty much what they did, right?
Yeah, you went up to...
You owned your house, someone died, you're like, all right, well, now we figure out what part of the backyard is going to be the ghoulish graveyard for our family.
For the whole family, yeah.
But try that now.
Yeah.
You live in Patchogue or Levittown. Why don't you try to do that? And then you'll see how free you really are in this country.
We got to wait 6 months to get a zoning thing for a fence.
Right.
You're going to start burying loved ones in your yard.
Could you imagine?
Good luck to you.
And be clueless. Like, what? I own my house.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bury my loved one
in the
backyard.
in the front yard.
In the front yard, right. Try to get that done.
That's pretty ghoulish.
Goes with our theme.
It would never work, yeah.
No, I told this story with my brother. So it's horrific.
Yeah.
It's just awful. We were actually at the wake for my uncle who dropped dead of a heart attack, and he was like 50 tops, I think. It was horrible. And then we get the call after just a horrendous day. My dad calls me to say Brett's dog got run over because we lived on the busy road, right?
Yeah.
And my dad was in horrible health. He had one artery basically.
Why did you guys have pets?
I don't know.
It's just a lifetime of sorrow.
I would have to ask if one of my brothers are listening, maybe they could send me an email. I know of my cat was run over. Brett's dog was run over. I know of 5 family pets that.
Wow.
That's how they died. For real. I think. At least 4.
That's too much grief.
At least 4. Maybe 5.
Yeah, that's...
So I get the call that Brett's dog got hit by a car and is dead. And my dad basically said, get over here. Brett's not doing well. This is the owner of F.H. Riley's. This is horrific. My dad, it was a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
And those things are heavy. My dad has like one artery still pumping to his heart. Or out of his heart, whatever. I mean, he's in bad shape, but he decided he knew how important this dog was to Brett, so he lifted the thing out of the road and carried it, which could basically risking his own life, because that could have easily been the last straw with his heart. Puts it in a wheelbarrow, and then I show up at the house, and Brett is, you can't even talk to him.
Inconsolable, as
exactly.
They say.
He's on his knees. He's losing his mind. And then about an hour goes by, and he looks at me, and he goes, I have to bury him now. And I'm like, I felt like I was in a Stephen King movie.
Oh.
I felt like I was in a Stephen King movie. It was like February. It was like single digits. There was a full moon. The ground was frozen.
Just put him out there.
There was snow on the ground.
He'll keep until it gets warm.
And then he's picking at the hard earth, trying to get some traction to dig this hole.
Crying.
The whole time crying and literally collapsing.
That's creepy.
Was he sad?
Oh. Worst day of my life. Worst day of my life. I've been through some bad days, but this was horrific.
What kind of dog was it?
To go through. A Rottweiler.
That sounds pretty bad.
But he's one of those guys that has to do the right thing, and he just knew he had to do that at that moment.
Right then and there?
And I held the flashlight as he's digging, because the moonlight wasn't good enough.
Not quite good enough. Just enough to make it eerie.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Enough to make it eerie, but not enough light.
And we're not talking, because what are you going to talk about?
Yeah, hey, how about the Yankees?
He got that whole Doug, though, man. He's a real man.
It was the winter. Why would the Yankees be playing?
I don't know.
Sorry.
He jumped in the hole to make sure it was deep enough, and it was up. It was like above his nipples. And then we placed the dog in the hole.
Tossed him in.
In a tarp or no?
I forgot how he did it. I think
you should have been a dick and just kicked it in harshly.
Jesus, Jimmy.
Why not? Just to be like the tough brother.
Tough love, yeah.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Got a kick in there.
Yeah. It was his dog.
It's terrible.
He had it from literally when those Rottweilers, when they're born, they're like as big as your fist tops. They're tiny little things.
Little pup.
And yeah. All right.
Nice segment there.
Right.
Jesus.
Digging a grave under the moonlight.
Should have had the same vibe when they were digging Billy Bats up in Goodfellas.
How about a wing?
You want a paw?
All right.
You look more like a heart and lungs kind of guy.
A wing.
A wing.
My grandma used to take dead kittens and throw them in the river. Would Hellman's pay for E-Rock's funeral? That's footer. Aunt meaning, your aunt.
Yeah.
Wanted her ashes at sea, got the ashes all over our whole family. I love these stories.
Yeah, a lot of times the wind doesn't cooperate.
John in Brooklyn. What's up, John?
What's up, boys? What's going on?
Hey.
So, listen, we're all on the boat. My mother's sister, all she did her whole life, she wants to be on a boat. So we get on this thing. You got the priest, a family. By the way, I'm going to get my ass kicked for telling this story because they still cry about it.
Yeah.
So we're all on the boat. They pray. The priest makes the prayer. They open the urn. They throw the ashes out, and there's my aunt floating in a Ziploc bag in the ocean. And
oof.
So they grab the hook to pull her in. Everyone's freaking crying. I'm hysterical laughing in the corner with my wife.
You got to laugh at that. I'm sorry, but that's just unbelievable. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
It was hysterical. So then, they open up the Ziploc bag. They go to toss it. The wind just blows, and everybody's covered with my aunt's ashes all over the boat.
Like you all just ran out of a house on fire.
And then you got to brush her off of you, all awkwardly and sad.
I'm gonna miss her.
It's in your eyes. Can't see.
People were freaking out. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh.
Did everyone jump in the water to get the ashes off them?
No. Everyone just tried to, everyone was just shaking themselves off. My mother's hysterical crying. The people laughing and people crying at the same time.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it lightens up the mood a little bit, right?
Does it?
I think so. I think
All right,
so.
boys, punching out.
Good story, John. Thank you. You want this one? This one's for Jimmy. Mike in Florida. Talk to Jimmy.
Jimmy,
Mike,
happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
Listen, I used to work at a cremation company up in Farmingdale for all the New York people. Trust me, you don't want to get cremated. It's a disgusting, filthy, just like you're laying on your back, and if you open the retort dish, the thing that you can see the body getting burned, you can see flames shooting out of your eyeball cavity. Do you really want that?
How long does it take to burn the body?
Honestly, you're going to be in there for a good 20 minutes, and then they have to open it up,
To
turn the
baste
flames
you.
off, and go in with a poker to get your torso to collapse, and then they fire it back up again.
Wow.
And we're completely sure. Let me just throw this on the table. And we're completely sure you don't feel anything after you die, right? We have figured that one out for sure.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't
It
care
looks-
what you
looks
believe in
painful.
as far as God and medicine and all that. What about the unknown? We're convinced that you don't feel shit, right?
I'm
just
not
need to
convinced
know.
After I saw some of those flames.
I got to be honest, man. It's still, as much as that would suck, it beats 35 years from now still rotting and still being conscious if you are.
Jimmy, can I make a suggestion? You want to be entombed. Go put yourself in a nice wall, and then if something happens, maybe they cure cancer or something, and they pop you right out of the wall.
Yeah.
Your bones at that point.
Your bones, dude. I don't want to be. I don't want to be suffocated.
Mummified.
Nowadays, you last 30 years.
You want to be a mummy?
What?
You want to be a mummy?
But only if I can walk around with the wraps on and frighten people. I want to be a mummy, but I want to terrorize people.
Yes.
Thank you.
A horrible, scary mummy.
Before we wrap up, what about the people that now stuff their pets? That's a big thing.
Yeah, they freeze dry them now.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
just have them like they're just sleeping.
Around the house.
Like
Wait,
they're
freeze
sleeping
dry
in
'em?
the corner.
Yeah, they freeze dry them.
Yeah.
And they don't rot. They're not
Danny
really
can probably
stuffed.
find a website.
And
There's
then
a
they
bunch of
pose
these
them.
pictures.
They pose them like, let's say you pose your dog. With my fucking throat. You know what did that? That god fucking envelope that I opened up.
Yeah.
You know those manila envelopes with the dust inside?
Yeah.
You can't open those without ripping open the dust thing. It got all down my throat. Been hacking like crazy all morning.
I got something that might help you.
Oh, yeah? Jimmy. I forgot where I was.
You were talking about
the pets.
posing people's
Yes,
pets.
yes, and then they pose them like they're laying down in a little bed.
Yeah, like they're
Like
napping.
they're napping or something, or they're playing. Or
Playing
whatever.
would be
Yeah,
even
like
creepier.
sleeping. Look, it's a sleeping dead cat. Perpetual pet.
Get
The
the
perfect
fuck
plan
outta
for the
here.
perfect pet. And you freeze dry. Look, it looks like it's just sleeping.
Just let it
and then
go.
people pet it, but it's like
Get out of here.
It's
Let
stiff.
it go.
How about just a picture if you really need to?
Yeah.
Let it go.
I wanted to do that with Chester.
Fuck Chester.
Look at that thing. That
I'm
was
still
dead.
not over it,
Dude, that
Chester.
dog is dead.
We'll meet again.
Little Peaches.
Huh?
That dog's dead. Yeah. How the fuck are you gonna live in your house with that scary thing just peering at you?
And you know it comes alive when you're sleeping.
Oh my god!
Everyone knows that.
You shut your eyes, and then you open it, and it's a little closer to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit!
And at first you think you're just seeing
Oh
things.
no!
And you try to
Oh.
talk yourself into the fact that you're just seeing things, and then no, it's real.
What are you gonna do with Dexter?
Ew, your cleavage sucks.
I'm sorry. I'll
Dexter's not
button
gonna
up.
die.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
He's fine.
You see
But
that,
that's
Jimmy?
way too creepy.
Yeah.
Never do that.
All right, are we done with this? Birdie cat, which came back to life, dug my dog's grave while my dog was walking around alive. What the fuck?
Guy's a pessimist.
I'm trying to move on, bud. Let's say hi to Tim. Tim?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Yeah, my dog had
Oh,
cancer.
no.
We were gonna put him down.
Huh?
We were going to put him down. He had cancer, so I scheduled an appointment, and I dug the hole before the kids got home from school. And he was walking around and, enjoying it.
Dig a hole. It could be the first hole I dug.
Yeah, you should have made him do it with his little paws.
So you dig the hole, and then when did the dog die?
Well, we made the appointment like 3 in the afternoon, so I dug it in the morning and took him down, had him put to sleep, and brought him home and buried him.
Jesus. God bless you.
Yeah, it was tough, man.
Yeah.
The kids actually ended up helping out. My son was a tough guy.
Yeah.
Tough guy.
Tough guy. Rob on Long Island writes, didn't
great.
cry at my grandma's death, but when my pet died, I cried like a little girl.
I cried at both.
Yeah, it was tough.
I balance it. I cry at people and animals.
treated your grandma
And
like a
people I
pet.
don't care
I
about.
did actually. We buried her in the yard.
They're saying that you could bury people legally in Vermont in the backyard. Let's go to John in
It's all
Vermont.
woods.
Well,
John.
Vermont's one of those.
Hey,
states.
man, how you doing?
Hey, John.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank you, John. God bless.
Yeah, in the state of Vermont, if you follow all the statutes for burying a body, you can start your own ghoulish graveyard right there next to your house.
For real?
Yes, swear to God.
But what if you sell your house?
They have to deal with it. They have to pay to move it if they want it moved.
Wow.
No, then you put your pool over it. And
There
what
you
happens
go.
is you fall in.
All right, guys, punching out.
Poltergeist.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
I'm in today. Here's one last question. Have you ever had to finish off a pet that got hit by a car or something?
Oh, damn.
That is ghoulish
Fuck
shit.
it.
Or deer.
Gotta be kidding me.
There's people out there, man. You hit an animal and it's suffering. You have to do the right thing, and now you're just turning into a fucking murderer on the side of the road. And you're just on the way to Little League or something like.
Oh,
when I woke up
man.
today, I didn't realize I was going to be a murderer.
That's bad.
Let me say hi to Jeff in New York. Jeff.
Yeah, when I was a kid, my neighbor's dog got hit in front of the house, and that's what my old man did. He went out with a claw hammer and finished the dog off because it was suffering.
Claw hammer.
Holy shit.
Wow.
You can't even do it with a gun.
Why didn't he just pull its little dog fingernails out?
We didn't have a gun at the house, so he had to, use the hammer on it.
What
Later,
the fuck you doing with that hammer?
How ghoulish would it be to see your dad with a claw hammer walking out to the curb?
Just kind of woke up with it.
He should have just backed the car over its little head.
Oh,
It's quick.
Is that horrific, though?
that is bad. You gotta just pound his head in with a hammer.
And the dog's probably like, what is he doing?
Yeah, what? Help me.
I think he wants a piece of cheese.
Skeeter in Wyoming. Skeeter?
Hey, Skeeter.
Well, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
3 years ago, in the middle of January, it's 20 below. We got 2 foot of snow on the ground, and my mom calls me from work and tells me I have to put my dog down of 16 years.
I thought
come
it was
home,
just giving us a weather report
go
from
up.
the past.
Go up, dig the grave, come back down, pick my dog up, throw her in the bed of the truck, take her up on the hill, and I have to shoot my own dog.
Jesus.
That was tough.
Where did you live? In Mice and Men?
Yeah, Old Yeller.
Not tons of it is, I guess. But then my grandma died last week, and just like the other guy, I cried more for my dog than my grandma.
Yeah, I think that's.
She go down the same way as the dog?
Yeah.
Someone just.
I'd like to.
Kevin has in Brooklyn just writes with a claw hammer.
I know the claw hammer is
Later, boys.
Thank you,
fucking
sir.
brutal.
What end of the claw hammer do you use? Do you use the claw?
The claw.
Or
You
do
have to.
Or you use the hammer
No, the
part?
blunt end.
Blunt trauma or an actual gaping wound.
Oh.
No,
to
because
the
the claw
skull.
might get stuck in the dog's head as it's yelping.
Oh, my God.
Fucking horrendous.
Oh, that is so fucking. I don't even want to think about it.
All right.
It's terrible.
We're trying to move on, but Jeremy, there's some good stories here still. Jeremy, Indiana. Jeremy.
Hey guys, happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Hey, when my dad's, or actually our family pet died, my dad had him cremated, and he sits in a little ceramic doghouse on the mantle.
What the hell? How big is your mantle? It's a retriever, you said?
Yeah, golden retriever.
Yeah.
Well, they get pretty small once they're ashes.
Yeah.
Oh, you said. I'm sorry. I thought.
They just threw the dog up there.
No, I thought it was like the frozen
Oh,
pets.
stuffed or
yeah,
something?
I'm sorry.
No. They
I tapped
cremated
out
him.
for a
They
second.
cremated him.
Okay.
He had cancer, and they had to gas him.
All right. Yeah. That's pretty common. I thought you had the retriever just hanging out on the mantle like that.
No. That's freaky.
All right. You want to move on in, or you want? I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
Buried a cat,
Jesus
came back
Christ.
to life. Friend of mine shot a rot with a .22 pistol and didn't kill it. It ran off into the woods. Holy shit! I don't know why I'm laughing.
Oh, it's terrible.
Let me say hi to Neil in PA. The dog must be
Hey,
going, "What the fuck did I do to you?"
What are you doing to me?
Neil.
How you doing, boys? Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Hi,
Love
Neil.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, man, about 15 years ago, a buddy of mine had 2 Rottweilers, big, aggressive dogs. The male started to go after him when he'd come home from work. I mean, literally attack him.
I was over there one day, and he said, I got to get rid of this dog. He's like, so we took it out in the woods, and he's carrying a .22 pistol, and I'm thinking, that might not be enough. He shot this fucking thing right in the head. It didn't die. It jumped up, bled all over him, scared the hell out of both of us, took off into the woods. We're standing there. He's covered in blood. We get in the house, get shotguns. It took us 4 hours to track this thing down and finish it off. It was horrible.
Now you're fucking...
Seemed fine.
Now you're a hunter.
The dog takes a
Now
bullet
you're a hunter.
and
With
runs
your own
off.
dog.
Maybe it wasn't quite ready.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Wow.
Punching out, bro.
That's
Love
how
you.
you sleep.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, and finally this, and then I think we can finally go to break. John in, how do you say it? It's not Boston anymore. Boston.
Boston.
Hey, John.
Just listening to you on BCN.
Thanks, John, for reminding us.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, that decision worked out in their favor, huh? Getting rid of us. That was smart.
I
That
know.
decision
Well,
really turned things around, huh?
I know it sucks, but what can you do?
But they continue, keeping their jobs. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Anyways, so one of our supervisors at work, we're talking. He had his brother died long, it was about in the 50s or so, and he had some type of cancer or whatever. And the young kid, and just 2 years ago, they had to move the body. They were doing some type of family thing or whatever, graveyard, whatever they were doing. They had to move the body. So his parents had to go and look at the body after they exhumed it to make sure that it's the right guy. You're not moving some other guy.
You're going to identify it.
Exactly. And they popped open that casket, and this kid's been buried for 50+ years. And the casket opens, and they're looking at him, and he looked exactly the same the day he was buried. So I don't know what they're doing nowadays, but even 50 years ago, they're making you last a long, long time.
It all depends on how dry the ground is. There's all these factors. Whether the guy was dead when they put him in. Because if you live for a couple of years after, that's probably like...
Wouldn't you like to know that they're kind of, let's just call them moving on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead of frozen in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't, ugh.
Ghoulish and
Like,
creepy.
looking exactly the same, that is creepy.
Well, speaking of moving on, I'll see you guys later.
I like this, John. Thanks, John. All right, we'll go to break. Stephen C. Was taking every Monday off, and we put a stop to that, didn't we, Steve? Didn't we? It's a little joke, but the boys had fun with the Steve C. taking every Monday off bit.
Oh.
And Derek came up with this.
Yes, now and forever. I only meant until August.
Yeah.
But for all eternity.
Yes, forever and ever. I meant 6.
This is pretty much the conversation.
And I hope you remember. I mean, we spent, an hour and a half on this?
Yeah.
Everyone was beating up Steve, like, what the fuck you doing, taking every Monday off, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows the backstory, hopefully? Okay.
Yes, he received a beating.
And Jimmy's going to be in Atlanta at the Punchline?
Yes, tonight, 10 o'clock show, and then tomorrow and Saturday, a bunch of shows.
And you guys have always said, there's a nice following down there. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see just that at Jim Norton shows this weekend. All right? But first this from Derek.
Who said life was all about following the rules?
Carlisi.
I'm a man of leisure.
This summer.
Greg Hughes, it's Mr. Carlisi. You're an asshole.
Find out what happens when one executive producer discovers he has 50 sick days and decides to use them all.
Ah, the Prius. If you have the means, I highly recommend you pick one up.
Starring Steve Carlisi.
I want to eat in that restaurant. I'm going to make a fake reservation with my new stomach.
And Steve Carlisi as Steve Carlisi.
Don't you know me? I'm Abe Froman, the internet king of Jersey. Look, the Foundry logo's on everything. We'll shake it up, baby, now. Twist and shout.
Coming every Monday.
A family member has days off, and you give them crap? You're an asshole.
Steve Carlisi's Day Off.
Life goes by pretty fast. If you don't take vacation time, you'll miss out on it.